Hey guys, in this section what I want to talk about is static pages. There's a bunch of different ways you can implement static pages on a Rails on Ruby site. One being you could use the public directory. You could create a controller for each page and a view for each page. You could create a single controller called maybe a page controller that will where you can add different views to, and you can also create a page controller and have it interact with the database and actually have your pages have the content in the database and fetch it for the front end. What I'd like to do is create a single controller, a page controller, and have different views for that controller. And we can do that. We can see by going to the HTML template that we created. We're going to have an about, a contact, and a resources page. So I'd like to implement something called page controller, and then have an about view, a contact view, and a resources view. Because it is a blog, and we don't need to create a whole CMS, so we don't need to have the page content in the database. So let's go to our folder, which is in C drive, sites, my Ruby blog, and if we go into app and we go into controllers, we can create a controller. Actually, well, we should probably do this via command line actually. Yeah, so let's go to a command line. Alright, so I'm going to go to the C drive, sites, my Ruby blog. Whoop. Sorry about that. I don't really like this command line interface. Alright, so we're in the my Ruby blog folder. So let's Rails G. Let's generate a controller and call it and let's just do pages. So we're going to generate a pages controller, and we want an about view, we want a contact view, and a resources view. Alright. So now if we go back, you can see we now have a pages controller. So let's open that up. Let me get rid of this stuff. So it gave us these three actions, and it also should have gave us the views. If we go to pages, we have about, contact, and resources. Now, just having these actions defined is actually good enough. So let's go to the about view, and you can see we can go to pages about. So that's our about page. We can go to contact. It's our contact page. So it's very easy. Now I know you don't want people to have to type in pages/contact. You want just contact, and we can do that very easily through the routes file. So if we go to our my Ruby blog folder and then config and then routes, so we can just do this. We can do a match. We can do match, and we want to put the name that we want to add if we want to go to the about page, which would just be about. So about, and then we want to put in 2, and it's going to go to pages about. Okay, so that should do it. If we save this and then we go to just /about, and it takes us to the about page. Now if you don't do that, then I mean, you can see if we want to go to contact, it gives us an error, but all we need to do is add it in our routes. We'll do the same with resources. Resources. Alright, so if we save that, go back and reload, we're at our contact page, resources, we're at the resources page. Okay, so now we can actually add some content. I don't think, yeah, we don't have any static pages set up here, but actually let's just go to, let's put some sample data in. Generate some lorem ipsum. So we'll just say about my Ruby blog, and we'll just have some filler content here. So if we save that and go back to about, so now we have some content. So it's, I mean, that's just one way you can implement static pages. This is the way I would suggest if you have, you know, 2 to maybe 8, 9, 10 pages. Any more than that, then you might want to think about having a CMS and having stuff put in the database for your pages. But that's what we're going to do here. Yeah, so that looks good. Next thing we need to do is we need a menu. Now I know I had showed you how to create different layouts. If we go into app and then views and layouts, we created a home and a post layout, but I'm actually going to get rid of those for now because I just want to have one main layout for now at least. We might do some partials later. So if we go and we go to let's just go to the home page. So now this application.html.erb is the layout for the whole and for the entire site. Now to create a menu for something like this, we have some static pages, the post page. We're just going to create a menu right in here, okay? And we're gonna, in the next section, we're gonna implement the styling, but I just want to add in a menu here. So I'm just gonna put a div tag here, and I want to create an unordered list menu, and I'll just give this a class of main nav, which might change later on, and then some li. Actually, we're not going. You know what? We're going to use Rails menu, the way that to use Rails menu structure. I'm not going to use a tags. So we'll have the home page, about, blog, contact, resources. So now we want to open up. I actually should have put the tags in there too before I copied and pasted. And they're all going to have link to. Okay, so the first one is going to be home, and that's going to go to home, and for this we can use the root path, and then we have the about page, and that will go to, that can go to the about path. Okay, and then we have, what do we have, blog, and that should be post path, and contact, we can say contact path, and finally resources, resources path. Alright, so let's check that out. Alright, so we have a syntax error, and it looks like I forgot the last quote on the about text, so let's save that and try again. Okay, so now we have a menu here. Now we need to make sure everything works. Home, about, blog, contact, and resources. So we have a working navigation menu, and you can see it's on every page, and it's on every page because it's actually in the layout file. It's not in a view. If we just had this in a view file, then we would have to include it in every single view on our site. So yeah, so now we can actually start focusing on implementing the templates so we can make our site look like this. So we're getting there. That's the end of this section, and I'll see you in the next.